As a child, the Dreamkeeper never saw the sun. He was born during the late 23rd century in one of the underground lunar cities that flourished there until wars over mineral rights turned them into ghost towns. Only appropriate that they were also beneath the dark side of the moon. At 10, he was evacuated to the Earth. At 15, he was chosen to become a Dreamkeeper, working in a different kind of dark world, monitoring lives unlived, sustaining the records of unrealized souls.
Archiving the imprints of butterfly wings before they've even left the chrysalis.
But for the last couple of years, he'd started to break the rules. Chosen for his empathic abilities, he gradually realized that he could read the dreams of others without the heavy cerebral reality monitor required, that worked through magnetic resonance technology and limbic system stimulation.
After all, I'm not a cyborg. Why can't I work without the monitor?
Nor did he report his burgeoning ability like he was supposed to do.
And why should I tell them? If it makes me more accurate at my work?
The filters caused a 15% distortion factor, and he did not want to mark a sleeper for ejection from suspended animation because of that. And on the night our story is to begin, he was in for more than one surprise. The very first dreamer, a young man with a gray but determined face, was striding forcefully down a long corridor of shadows and dark angles, even though the arrows on the pathway pointed in the other direction.
Yes, if there is somewhere he really needs to go, why can't he do that too?
But suddenly, hidden gears began to creak and turn. The sidewalk started to move, taking the dreamer farther and farther away from where he wanted to go, accelerating moment by moment until he could only just stay on his feet.
What's happening? What? Oh, too fast! Too fast!
Through a series of various shaped windows, lights started to flicker, then flash brightly. Painfully vivid colored images, as if someone were projecting three-dimensional movies. For the sleepers, dreams in colors were not necessarily that rare, but toward 2 a.m., the Dreamkeeper had to switch to an old-fashioned infrared filter to protect his optic nerve from being overwhelmed.
Watch out! Watch out!
As if he was the one being assailed by fragmented pieces of a stained glass window, each carrying a memory and emotion. The movies portrayed the young dreamer himself as a child, playing on a swing under an apple tree in full white blossom, walking through a garden of pink roses and yellow jonquil.
How lovely. I'm not quite sure why they're hurting him so very much.
Then, the young man was on a train, journeying across a world as barren and as gray as his face. Above this wasteland, an apocalyptic sky of dark, brooding stars. But soon, he was in a modern city, all glass and steel and internal corridors from one building to the next, and he was being ushered by faceless hands into a cold and sterile room he didn't want to enter.
Let go! What is this place? No, leave me alone!
The dreamer tried to run back down another moving sidewalk, but he stumbled, fell, stood up, kept getting thrown in the opposite direction he wanted to go, the colors taking on a harsh and threatening sheen. Finally, he curled up in a fetal position on the relentlessly hurtling track. He'd given up, stopped resisting. And the conveyor belt sidewalk carried him on into the darkness, to be born into a world he never wanted and had never hoped to see.
Fool! Why can't he just let go of the past? Doesn't he know the unseen themselves are terrified of dreams like this? If I report it, who knows what they might do to him? Would it be so wrong to misplace just this one file?
But the Dreamkeeper also knew, if the unseen discovered this deception, his own life might become a waking nightmare. For who knew how many minotaurs lurked at the center of that digital labyrinth, waiting there to make a sacrifice of the young sent to sustain the integrity of the maze?
But I have to do it. I have to.
So, he switched the file to a place where it would be even harder to find, in the endless quantum archives that became more endless over time.
What would Mother and Father say? Well, best they're gone now and we'll never know. I'm so tired. So very tired.
He turned off the light over his desk and sat back in his chair. That night, for the first time in a very long time, he had a dream. He was on a swing with a blue mountain behind him, and nearby, the sound of a stream, like the laughter of a sweet-voiced child. He awoke several hours later, confused.
Was that dream mine? I don't remember such a place.
Or did it really belong to that young man on the moving sidewalk? Was the Dreamkeeper losing his sense of self by identifying too much with the dreamers? Starting to yearn as well for a past he'd never experienced himself? And in some ways, experiencing these dreams more deeply than the dreamers themselves, because he was awake and his stress centers less suppressed.
This is not supposed to happen. This is not supposed to happen at all.
The Dreamkeeper had taken another hesitant but very dangerous step in the wrong direction, and who knows where it all might lead or end. We are in the lobby of an apartment building in a working class suburb on the northwest edge of Chicago. The year is 2018. That young man sitting there inside the maintenance closet is named Henry. Now, Henry may look like he is asleep, but he is not. He's supposed to be doing his job as a detective, to monitor the elevator and lobby of this building for petty vandalism and theft. But he is also not. He is instead writing a story. And it was not his voice we were hearing before, but that of that other young man, David, the Dreamkeeper, who you have already met. Unless, of course, it's the other way around, and David is dreaming about Henry. One of those dreams of the past David is not supposed to have or know about. Two destinies, parallel lives, nearly overlapping, but perhaps never meant to really meet. The lights would fade on Henry now if this was a stage play, but it is not. It is a play in your mind's eye, and in your imagination, and as close as your own dreams.
The night was longer than usual, not because my own dreams made me restless,
but because the dreams of others kept me riveted to my chair. Because I am a dream keeper. That is my job.
Not a dream catcher, exactly, not one of those lacy, feathery circles people hang on their windows in the moonlight as a token toward a better future.
Though what I do does involve the future. My job, well, is to eavesdrop on the sleep of others to make sure they're not being led astray.
Someday they will awaken and become the leaders, the movers and shakers of a more orderly civilization, hand-chosen for this task, engineered if you like. Most of them were put into this state in their early years, and someone has to keep track of their dreams.
They are like the seeds I am assigned to nurture, to keep from growing astray from their appointed mission.
Yes, ensure they are not developing bad habits of thought and character, nor harboring some potentially debilitating trauma, whether of their own experience or the collective unconscious of humanity.
They must be perfect themselves to create that expected perfect future.
As for me, I would be ruled out in an instant.
Some nights, my present reality itself seems like a dream, while the dreams I record seem to contain deeper truths about the real.
Am I myself really just a voice floating in space, a set of digital files projected on the flat edge of the universe?
My life a set of data, a hologram, ghostly even when I am not a ghost?
Or am I on a stage in some small storefront theater in a big city, acting out a role as a writer that someone else has cast me in?
Or just being projected through quantum space from one computer to another, my soul a wayward traveler? My reality is slippery indeed.
Sometimes it is very hard to tell. If you use your imagination and wonder begins to generate self-doubt.
Yes, this is the story of how I learned to stop analyzing and measuring other people's dreams.
And started to live and realize some of my own. And now, how better a way to start but the dream keeper meets the girl.
The Dreamkeeper noticed there was another dream to monitor. He was soon in for his biggest surprise of that work session.
Case 28713, Dream 1000 in this sequence. He should maybe be getting a prize, if he were actually awake, that is.
The Dreamkeeper starts to record the dream, almost as if it is happening to him.
I'm climbing up the side of a building. No ladder or steps, just walking on the air. It's so easy, and I'm not afraid. At the top of the building, there is a garden. A man and a woman are drinking clear water from a pond. All around them, wild animals are drinking too, and no one seems afraid of anyone else. The couple are naked, but don't seem to realize it. They're beautiful, and don't seem to realize it either. The man sees me and asks, "Who are you?" The woman says,
"Don't talk to him. We're not supposed to talk to strangers."
The man replies, "But why does he have to be a stranger? Wouldn't it be nice to have others to talk to besides ourselves?"
"I am not enough?"
She asks.
"Very well, I will talk to him then."
She approaches me, but the closer she gets, the older and older they both seem, and I realize it's wrong, and I yell, "No, no, don't!" as I start back toward the edge of the building to climb down, but instead I trip and fall and fall and fall. But I don't crash land. I stand up and look around. The building is gone, completely vanished. Only a stray cat staring at me and mewing. It's hungry. I take an apple out of my pocket, all I had with me to eat. I must have got it from the garden at the top of the building. I give it to the cat. It takes a bite, stares at me wisely, more wisely still, and pads off into the shadows. And I wake up.
Oh, you've got to tell me. Those people at the top of the building.
Huh?
Oh, come on.
Who the hell are
anyway?
you?
Oh, nobody. Just a cleaner. You were so focused, I didn't want to bother you.
Bother me? How did you get in here?
Oh, I come in tonight to empty the garbage. Don't worry, I have access. The schedule showed you were off tonight, so...
I have some work to catch up on. I've fallen behind.
Yes, that would explain it. The other night, well, when I came in, your floor was a mess. Papers everywhere. I saw some of your notes and...
You saw my notes?
Just a scrap as I was putting in the garbage. I just took a glance, that's all. I get bored, you see?
See, if you expect me to believe it, tell me, are you here to investigate me?
Don't be ridiculous. Do you think the unseen would send a woman for that? What's making you so nervous?
Nothing. I'm not.
Uh-huh. Are you in trouble? Have you done something that would call for you to be investigated?
We are all guilty in the eyes of the unseen, and the life we are given is our penance. Isn't that true?
I wouldn't know. But that dream, and I hear the start of a story, I just want to know what happens next.
Well, no one really knows, do they? That's what makes them dreams. Fragments of stories that overlap with other stories that never quite fit together and yet have a logic of their own.
Yes, they remind me of a fairy tale my mother once told me.
Your mother was not supposed to tell you stories like that, especially if you don't understand what they mean in the first place.
Oh, so you understand everything then? The mysteries of the human psyche, the universe of synaptic galaxies, the infinite pathways of the brain?
No, I didn't say that, did I? It's just my job to assess the dreams of others and mark ones that, well, maybe are not as they should be.
Like a teacher grading a test? I read about that in an ancient book called Anne of Green Gables. But if you don't know what the dreams mean, how can you decide if they're good or bad?
Somehow I can just tell, all right? Usually I can hear their voices and...
Oh, so you are spying on the dreams of others.
Me? I'm not the one who snuck in here to read other people's garbage.
I told you, I didn't sneak in. Anyway, how else could I be sure?
Of what?
Nothing. Just that your space needed cleaning again. Are you going to report what happened tonight?
Who, the dreamer for the dream, or you for listening in?
No, silly, the lady who ran the orphanage for letting you read fairy tales.
I thought you said your mother read them to you.
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but I was luckier than most.
Where is she now?
Don't know. I think they closed that orphanage down. Were you close to your parents? That is, if you had any?
I don't remember them very well anymore. Wait, no, you're trying to distract me again, and I'm only going to ask you one more time, why were you listening in?
Not like I could help it. You're not wearing your head console or your eye scanner.
How do you even know I'm supposed to use them?
Calm down. I didn't. I just saw them on a shelf gathering dust for me to clean. And then when I came in today, I saw your face, so pale, so tired looking, hunched over your desk.
Terrible face. You shouldn't look at it either.
No, it's not, but I'm really sorry. I couldn't help overhearing, but can I hear some more?
You were really amazing. Why would you want to? I have no choice, but you.
Well, I just thought you might like some company. I don't think you really want to report me anyway, do you? Or you would have done it already. You must have your reasons. You can tell me if you like. Or not. But I'm not hurting anything by being here, am I? Well?
No, except for breaking about a dozen rules, but fine. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Nobody ever said if the cleaner comes in and I accidentally forgot to put my console on and just let the dream reader play so I could do other work.
So tell me, who are you really?
I don't know much about my ancestors. I had once hoped to become a kind of counselor, but I wasn't deemed qualified, and the unseen don't see the need for that kind of work anymore. But at least this way I could still learn something about the infinite pathways of the human mind, as you call them. They had me study some of the big names from the ancient days, Freud, Jung,
Erickson?
mainly to assess the errors of that humanistic claptrap. The dream interpreters in the Kabbalah, the shamans of East Africa,
Buddhist mystics.
and then some of the more recent experts of the last 500 years. The first dreamer of the second moon of the third planet of Arcturus.
Stephen Clarence Mason.
Marooned there for more than 20 years, he had nothing better to do than to come up with his theories of dark matter and the cerebral cortex. But in the end, they really just want me to follow my intuition. The very thing they hope to weed out, as it's harder to keep in line.
So, because they think you have no future, they trust you to help make a better future for them.
Yes. Each day I get older, but because of the curvilinear continuum settings, the dreamers don't age beyond 25. I've been at it for over 10 years. Getting up after the sunset and going to bed before dawn. Soon I'll be 30, I think. And I don't know how to do anything else.
Have you ever even tried? Why swim every night in this endless sea hunched over your monitor as if it were your lungs, breathing in and out the dreams of others? Are you some kind of vampire?
A what?
A creature that can survive only in the dark, lives off the blood of others. But you must have your own dreams flowing through your veins. You're so strange.
So says the girl with glowing green sapphire eyes. I don't even know your name.
It's Holly.
And I'm David.
Yes. But what is perhaps stranger, David, is that I saw your face once in a dream.
No, that can't be. Why would someone like you dream of someone, well, like me?
Insignificant as I am, you mean?
No, that's not what I meant at all.
You don't talk with people much, do you?
I'm sorry, I don't. Not to one's actually awake and answering me back. I guess I'm just very used to being alone.
That's very sad. Then I am bothering you.
No, I didn't say
I'll just finish
that
my
you're
own
bothering
work
me.
and
That is, if you are actually real and I didn't just dream you up. Will you be back tomorrow night?
it's my job, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose so. We each must do what we must do.
Yeah, I suppose I should do some real work for a change. Where did I put my surveillance notes?
And I suppose it is time we all get back to our work, or whatever it is we do between the hours of our nocturnal reveries. But next time, who knows where these stories and these dreams might lead, let alone where they might end.